Yeah, for say an NGO, or let's say even a youth group or a think tank, or citizens forums. The first thing would be that let's see what role is public transport playing in the city's mobility, and so for that, it's good to look at how does the city travel and how convenient and safe and affordable is it to travel in the city. Can you walk easily? Can you cycle easily? Are there shared transport possibilities? E-rickshaws and six-seaters and auto rickshaws also play a key role in providing mobility services. And what's the role of the bus system? And what is the proportion of people who are not able to use these more sustainable modes and have to resort to using their own bikes or cars? And so if you just analyze the trend of increase in private transport, private mode usage, so registrations and then usage, and that of course requires that these are monitored. The RTO usually has the registration figures which you can access, and so if you track the trend of growth of vehicles in your city, you also track the incidence of road crashes and fatalities. You also track the trend of air quality, and then just the experience, that is it just taking too much time to travel? Are you spending too much time on the road? The road is always congested. So these are some of the trends with which you can assess that is it a situation to be concerned about. So if the number of vehicles on the road is going up, there is a lot of crashes happening, road safety is down, air pollution is increasing, and you are stuck in traffic, for a large part of your commute, then you really need to do something about it. And to be able to actually do something about the situation, a group would need to really understand how is this, how is the mobility system actually organized and how is it managed, which public authorities are responsible, and how well is it regulated and organized to provide the public service. And we already spoke about, what are the characteristics of a good public service. So, and then different arrangements actually exist. In some cities, for example, it might be the state transport undertaking itself, the STU, which provides city bus services. And in other places, like in Pune, there is a separate city bus entity which is called the Pune Mahanagar Parivahan Mahamandal Limited, PMPML. And in other states, it's not the state transport undertaking, but dedicated, like in Karnataka, the KSRTC runs services in Mysore, but it is the BMTC, which is a separate undertaking, which runs the city bus services in Bangalore. And some cities don't even have any formal city bus services. And there are some private bus operators who might get a permit to operate. And these permits are given out by the local regional transport office, that is the RTO. And so there are different configurations in different cities. So depending on which city you are in, you have to figure out that is it the STU which is running the bus service, is it the city bus entity, or there are some private operators and there's no formal, route rationalization or fare fixation and things like that. And the private operators are themselves, running the bus services. Basically, is it something that you need to be concerned about? How is the public transport system organized and managed? And then how healthy is the bus system? So these are the things that any NGO would need to understand before they start doing something about it. And how healthy is the bus system? You can also assess at the organization level, that is there a good management and staff of the entity which is running the bus service? Is the fleet and its infrastructure adequate? Does it have systems to plan its operations and services? How sound is the finances of the organization? So that you look at the ingredient level, and then you look at how well it performs. So how good are the service standards? Is it accessible? Is it affordable, comfortable, and convenient and safe? So you can judge it from the output and outcomes level as well. And having understood, is the bus system healthy or not, and how is it organized and managed? Then comes the engagement for improving bus systems. And so you should also check that, does the entity, say PMPML or BMTC or KSRTC or whoever is the entity, do they already have a suggestions and grievance redress forum? Is there a commuter forum? Are there, ways of taking your suggestions and, points that you want to discuss? Can you already do it directly with the entity that is running the bus system? Could you also approach the public representatives that are associated with, they would be a sort of a board of managing board or a governing council for that entity. And there would be, apart from, the bureaucrat who is in charge of the bus system, there would typically be some public representatives and elected representatives associated with that entity. So can you go and meet them and share your views and your suggestions and difficulties and complaints with them? There would be members of parliament, members of the legislative assembly, the local mayor, the local corporators. These are our public representatives, and it is important that the NGOs and public forums and commuter forums actually go and share. If you're feeling that something needs to be done, you must share your views with the public representatives. And surely you should write in media. You can run your own blogs and own websites, as well as use social media. Perhaps also organize webinars now in the COVID situation, but otherwise public discourse and public conferences and workshops where it's possible to actually gather concerned people and share what you want to say with the concerned authorities and public representatives. It's also important to network amongst ourselves. So, for example, SUMNET, which is the Sustainable Urban Mobility Network, this is a forum of different organizations engaged in urban mobility, and we have joined together to actually put forth our concerns and actually make a lot of suggestions to different levels of government, city governments and state governments, and also the Ministry of Urban Development.